Testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me? Oh, thank you. Thanks for confirming. Skinny Runt, thanks for joining. John Daly, thank you for joining. How are you guys doing? Where are you guys watching from? Happy Sunday to you all. We'll give it a few minutes before we begin. We'll let people join in. Scotland, that is far. Well, that's awesome. What time is it in Scotland? Tanner from the Bay Area. So, which part of the Bay Area are you from? I'm from the Bay Area too. Hello, Katie. Thank you for joining. I tried to start on time today. 11:08. Thanks, Skinny. St. Augustine. John, where is that, by the way? We got Aldo from Florida, Pembroke Pines. That's cool. Redwood City off the 101. I pass by Redwood City every weekday. Florida, that's great. Well, thank you all for joining. We'll give it about another minute, see if there's others that will join. We have a lot to cover. I want to share with you all some really good insights. Off the 280, okay, so you must have a nice view, close to the ocean. Daniel Cano from Pennsylvania, thank you for joining. Okay, we'll give it about another minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. So appreciate you all joining, by the way. All right, well, we can go ahead and get started. So we got a lot to cover. I got a lot of information I'd like to share with you all. And of course, if there's any questions that you have or any requests or ideas, please put it in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and start. We'll cover all of that, but put your questions in the chat. Let me just share with you all what's happening. So we got Bitcoin at 113, ETH at 4,700. So just recently, Bitcoin just nuked over 4,000 in 10 minutes out of nowhere. Just crypto things. So what had happened? I mean, we had some major pullbacks with Bitcoin and ETH. What is this? I mean, this is a prime recipe for just pullbacks for liquidation. Market makers are trying to make money off of the stop losses. So, it's just a routine thing. And I think this is good. You rather have this happen than, on Monday. So let all of that happen on Saturday or Sunday. And then, next week will be up and rising, especially with the Fed news. I mean, that was very bullish with Jerome Powell, pointing towards rate cuts. We're going to be in a golden era, crypto, AI, quantum computing. all of that's going to be very bullish. So I got a lot to share with you. So Tom Lee, he posts, this is positive for stocks. Friday was 91.5% upside day, which we usually see towards the beginning of a move, not after an extended one. So Tom Lee, he's forecasting that S&P 500 might get to like 7,000 by year end. So that's going to be very, very bullish from my perspective. What's going on with ETH, Tanner saying? So it's just, liquidation. Market makers are just trying to liquidate people, but ETH is holding up. I mean, it's at like what, 4,700? I mean, it was at 4,900 earlier, all-time high today. So, we're looking good. Ted posts, Eric Trump predicts Bitcoin will surpass 175,000 this year. So, what do you guys think? How high do you think Bitcoin's going to be going in this year, 2025? So, Colt asking, buying BMNR and SBET tomorrow. So, you betcha, I'm going to be buying, whether that's going to be Tuesday or Monday. I'll also let you know what I'm going to be buying. So, Katie with Clean Spark. Yeah, my name's Danny. All right. So Eric Trump, 175,000. 180,000 is somewhere where I think Bitcoin's going to be landing as well. So that's very bullish. All right. So Ted also posts, ETH looks ready to hit 5K really soon. After that, ETH will take a break before the next leg up. 10,000 plus ETH is coming this cycle, and there's nothing stopping that. So, very bullish. 10,000 even before 2026 begins. So that's Ted's prediction there. All right. So welcome everyone. Hi, JG. Thank you for joining, man. We got Robbie Rose in the house, Daniel in the house. Looks like we got a lot of regulars here. So thank you all for joining. We had a great Friday. That was, a moment for us to just take a moment to breathe, fresh air, be grateful for everything because everything's going to be all right. We got Jerome Powell being dovish. That is very bullish. All right, skinny rent, clearly a shift from ETH to Bitcoin, MSTR for a bit, just getting a bit worried. So Cypher, a buy at current price. So Colt, do your research. I mean, Cypher, Hive, Wolf. I mean, there's lots of upside right now. And Robbie's been bullish with, Clean Spark and Mara. I think Clean Spark is also expanding, considering that the leadership now is under Matthew Schultz. He's gonna, position to tap into, HPC AI along with Mara as well. So let's go ahead and continue. So Milk Road posts about ETH. So just broke a record most people don't know about. It became the fastest major asset in history to hit 500 billion in market cap. So think about it this way: ETH 5.8 years to get to 500 billion market cap. It took Bitcoin 12 years, Apple 35 years. Crypto is the fastest growing asset class in history. So you got ETH taking 5.8 years, Bitcoin 12 years. I mean, you got Apple taking 35 years, Microsoft 24 years, Tesla 17 years as a growth stock, Meta 13 years. So that just shows how strong, how fast crypto assets are growing right now. TrendSpider posts about Open. So let's say if you haven't heard about Open Ticker, the company name is Open Door. They are basically an online website where you can sell or buy a home without a realtor. So you can save like $35,000 off of not having to have a real estate agent. So Open, I mean, it's been just squeezing lately. I mean, it went from like $2, like less than $1. Last week it was hovering around $3, and it broke above $5 on Friday, with a 40% gain. And I think that it has potential to run up even further. So be on the lookout for that. I definitely do think that Open Door has potential for a nice run up. All right, Jake posts about BMNR. Doesn't get closer than this. I mean, look at this. You got this bullish pennant flag drawing. I mean, it's been consolidating. Yes, it went up from 30 to 70. It's been pulling back now. Now to answer Tanner's question, holding 1,500 shares of BMNR, should I hold it? I mean, look at this bull flag. The technicals are screaming towards, it potentially having a nice run up. So I leave that up to you. Always do your research, but I definitely do see BMNR having major upsides. Urkel posts about SBET. So, I mean, look at this. These look like boobies right here. Some nice firm boobies with a U-shaped formation. And with this showing, I think we're going to have a nice run up top for SBET. I'm looking at getting into BMNR, getting more, as well as SBET, getting more of that. And, I'm considering getting some contracts with Open as well. All right, so let's move on next to BTBT. So I'm bullish on BTBT. I own shares of BTBT. I own contracts of BTBT, leaps and even closer expiration dates. BlackRock is once again the largest institutional holder of BTBT. They also have an ETH Treasury reserve, and they haven't really broken out yet. At one point, they got up to like 450, and now they're like hovering below $3, high $2 something. So definitely undervalued. They also have ownership of White Fiber under ticker WYFI. So definitely see upside with BTBT. It might run up to like $6 soon. I'll go through the technicals as well. But I've been loading up on BTBT, so definitely be on the lookout for that company. All right. So Michael Saylor, he posted today, Bitcoin is on sale. I definitely do think that Bitcoin is on sale, even though Bitcoin dominance has been dropping by a few percentages. Bitcoin is still the mother coin. There's truly no second best. When it comes to scarcity, Bitcoin is the name of the game. But when you look at, like Ethereum network, I think that's like really the future as well. So when it comes to, you know, um, validating the network, you got proof of work, and ETH, you got proof of stake. But I think Bitcoin has just 21 million. And just look at Sailor buying for the last 5 years. Yes, we've been seeing the price of MSTR going down, but I think that, with Friday showing that 6% run up on MSTR, I think that, as we head into the rest of 2025, we're going to start seeing the price start surging up in addition to seeing Bitcoin go up as well. All right, so Pelo Swing, let's talk about Mara. So Mara, one thing to keep in mind is they have over 50,000 Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Think about how much money that is and where the current price is right now, extremely undervalued. Yes, the volume hasn't been at that levels where you're seeing like whales buying in. However, when you look at the indicators like RSI, definitely on the oversold action. MACD, if you look at the MACD on this, I mean, I'm expecting us to see green formation histograms. And Peloton is saying with a big test here of its 50-day DMA over which we can see the mid 17s. And at one point, we're going to get into like that, $20 range, within a matter of weeks. So Freedom by 40 also posts about CleanSpark and Mara. He's saying that CLSK and Mara have finally bottomed. Here's the short-term outlook. So, he's thinking that we're going to have a nice reversal. The miners have been taking a beating, but I think that things are going to start reversing as we move forward into the rest of the year 2025. All right, so let me just monitor the chat. So answer Colt's question. Skinny, I'm an investor in MSTR. Should I be worried? Hey, I'm also an investor of strategy. I'm not worried about it. I'm hoping it will go to at least 500 by end of year. I see you have stopped covering, so I'm still holding. I'm just hobbing right now. Not too worried about that. So Katie, Will Samper with ETH is the second best. Yes, you're right. Katie with the comment, futures flat, NVIDIA earnings on deck. So that's going to be interesting to see how things play out. Also, be on the lookout for AI. AI has been taking a pullback. I'm going to share with you some AI plays that I think have huge potential as well. Uh, Will Sanford, BMNR 12 times faster growth than MSTR. So in terms of like value right now, I think it's so exciting in the ETH sector, and we're seeing a lot of sentiment with like ETH treasury companies. So we'll go through all that as well. And as for Wolf, I mean, think about it. They got Google partnering up with them. So, blue chip companies, they need energy capacity. They found the value in Wolf, and that's why we're going to start seeing some miners with energy capacity get a big deal. For example, we're looking at on the screen Riot platforms. The Gentle Traveler is saying close to a breakout. Riot has a strong weekly candle despite three pink diamonds coming up on the weekly. It rejected the pink diamond resistance at 1350, gained that weekend flip blue very quickly again. Both Echo and Tango Pain are curling up again with the whale participation increasing, which is what we want to see. On the daily, we've closed above the daily golden trend and got three blue diamonds going strong. Next level to test higher are 1475 and 1620. So, I definitely do see upside. Last week we had a big time whale buy $3.5 million worth of, contracts on Riot platforms. Any ink deal that Riot announces, similar to Wolf with Google partnership, that could potentially send Riot up like 50%, gains within a day. All right, let's continue. So Luke Vol posts about DJT. So he says, I have been watching this DJT structure for a while now, and I think it is finally time to get a squeeze. I mean, when you think about it, I'm very bullish on DJT, and I definitely do think they are undervalued. They are a Bitcoin treasury company, and they're also going to be announcing their ETF soon that holds a basket of crypto stocks, not only just Bitcoin but ETH, Solana, you name it. But overall, why I like it so much is year to date they're down by over 50%. So the technicals are screaming towards undervalued. Buy when there's blood on the streets. I definitely do see we're going to see a major short squeeze with DJT stock. And Trump, he's going to be running this show for another 3.5 years. So can the stock price be this suppressed for long? No way. So definitely huge opportunities. All right. So just to share with you, just post from Shay. These are 15 companies that will benefit based on the news that we got from Jerome Powell with the dovish outcome. So Robinhood, when rates collapse, liquidity has to go somewhere, and history shows the first stop for retail speculation here is here. So everyone making money, putting it into Robinhood for sure. You got SoFi, that's going to be benefiting as well. Coinbase is going to be benefiting. PGY, Open, their website is very cool. I mean, I was going on their website, Open Door. I mean, this is really changing the name of the game for buying houses, selling houses online using Open Door app. Rocket Lab, that's very bullish as well. ASTS, EOSC, Oklo, NBIS, definitely having NVIDIA technology, but they're focused on the AI cloud, AI factory scale out. Be on the lookout for them. I could see them getting to $100. Circle, with the Genius bill being signed, stable coins is going to be the future. MSTR is on the list as well. I mean, think about it. They have getting close to one Nakamoto. That's like 1 million Bitcoin. BMNR is also on the list. ETH treasury exposure that scales with staking yield and network demand when liquidity returns. So what's interesting is that, Tom Lee's been talking about BMNR in that, and this also applies to SBET as well. I mean, these companies, along with BTBT, they can stake their ETH. So what they do is, they can validate the Ethereum, blockchain and get like 3% return. That's basically money, cash flow going into your, going back to your company. One unique thing is that they also have unrealized gains from the FASB accounting change that really benefits, digital assets as a commodity. So that becomes favorable, as well as just the excitement, the catalyst. You got Tom Lee as your, chairman. That's the whole entire backing of Wall Street. All right. So I also have another hot stock I'd like to share with you, and that is Galaxy Digital, GLXY. I'm saying that GLXY will become the next Robinhood Palantir stock. I have this drawing. Yes, we had a pullback, but that's expected. Everything happens by stair steps. So you see that it went up to like 32, pulled back. Definitely do think it's undervalued right now. So if you're considering looking for another, solid play, we could definitely see Galaxy in the near term get to $40, and then it's going to get to $100. With if you give it time. All right, so just looking at the comments in the chat. So confused about split in crypto from Bitcoin Maxi. So Jay, yeah, when in doubt, just have both. Why not have both? So what do you think about ETU? So John, ETU. I'm not too sure what ETU is. Is that the 2x of Ethereum leverage play? I mean, if you believe in ETH going up, why not? It's just, when it goes down, it could have more downside there, but you know, the higher the upside, the higher the risk is how I see it. Um, Yeah, when it comes to Bitcoin maxis, of course, you're always gonna, vouch for your main coin. But I think some people are embracing the fact that, Bitcoin and ETH go hand in hand together. You gotta view it as a complementary, crypto ecosystem versus just like everything Bitcoin. You know what I mean? All right, so let's continue. So we're looking at, strategic ETH reserve. So let's look at the top companies. So Bitmine emerged, you look at them, 1.5 million tokens. That's about $7.3 billion worth of, ETH. I mean, they're aggressively buying Ethereum, and they're not going to slow down. I mean, their multiple is 5% of the ETH supply, and they're at like 6% of the supply right now. SharpLink is right behind them. Now they have 740,000 tokens of ETH, and their overall market cap is like $3.5 billion. The overall amount for the amount of tokens they hold is about $3.5 billion. So you also see BTBT, so definitely be on the lookout for them. I do see upside with Bit Digital as well. All right, so let's take a look at the top, 100 public Bitcoin treasury companies. Strategy number one. So, how much Bitcoin is MSTR going to be announcing tomorrow? Right behind them is Mara. We got Jack Mallers' company, XXI. We also got Bullish. They had their IPO recently, and the stock's been surging. Riot Platforms getting close to 20,000. Meta Planet. You got DJT stock, 15,000 Bitcoin. Clean Spark at 12,700. Galaxy Digital. So you name it. I mean, just look at how many companies that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet now. Things are just getting more and more competitive. All right, so let's look at the comments. Let's see what everyone is saying. Owning lots of MSTR now, building long position in BMNR, and now SBET because of BlackRock Insider. So very good strategy, Jay. So Jay, when it comes to KULR, I mean, there's been just so much volatility with KULR. I mean, when you look at the company, they're trying to expand their, technological advancements with like, AI, having Bitcoin treasury. The stocks has just been plummeting, but I do think that there's going to be potential upside as well. I had some contracts on KULR. Did do well on it, but I think that now is the time where it could definitely make a run up. So you'll be all right with KULR once things start turning around. Will Samper, how many tokens do you think they bought last week? So we will see. We will see. But you know what? I think SBET, BMNR, they're buying as many tokens as they possibly can get right now. Thank you all for all the comments. And if you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit the like, subscribe to the channel as well, and even share it within your network. If at all possible, share my channel to those and help me out with just getting the message out there. So I really appreciate it. All right, so let's continue. Okay, so we are looking at open. So what's so unique about open? So in fact, let me just pull up. I'm gonna just pull up the website, Open Door. So a lot of people are talking about Open Door here, right? So make the easy move. Request a cash offer today. See the ways we can help you sell your home. So you can you can find agents. You don't even have to find an agent. You can find a home without a realtor agent. But what's unique is this is all like AI based. It without me even putting my address in, it knows like where all the houses are located. So it just brings up all of the housing opportunities around the area. So very intuitive. I really do think that there's going to be some major upsides, just with how Open Door works as we look at their, user interface. So, I mean, let's just click on this, for example. I click on this house. I mean, it gives you all the photos, it gives you similar listings. You could, self tour now. Everything's done online. So brilliant software. I really do think that things are gonna. So there you go. Open the website. Let me look at the comments. So I bought KULR as a battery space and robotic play, contracts with NASA military. So definitely huge upside. John Daly. So I didn't know about options too. I mean, started, this year, but I love it. I mean, there's no turning back. Highly recommend it. Um, Definitely, think of it as like how I would view it as like, let's say you're using a screwdriver, right? A manual screwdriver. Well, by options, it's like using a power tool, fully automated. That's how I look at it. So, Katie, if Clean Spark can get to $20, I'll get all I see is W. I'd love to see that. That day will come, Katie, and then you're gonna have to take a photo of that, and I definitely will. That day is gonna be coming, so I think you're gonna have to request for that license plate soon. KUL community hated buying Bitcoin. They don't understand. So, John Daly, have you thought about having a private group? Yeah, I've actually thought about that. I just don't know what the interest level is, and I'm just going to go based off of demand and all that. If people would prefer that, then yes, I could definitely have that be set up. But right now, I'm just doing it out of my interest, passion, and just trying to grow with everyone out there. So. But let me go ahead and just see if any startup polls. So I'll put that in the comments just to see, what everyone would have to say. So Jay, any suggestions on a platform to self custody on cold wallets? That I'm not an expert at it. I definitely am not an expert at it. But I would, just perhaps look on MetaMask might have one. MetaMask, I think they do cold wallets. They're reputable. But yeah, the network is sharing information now, like what CryptoStrats is saying. Um, Thank you, Jay. I really appreciate that. Loving this channel. Grateful to hear that. All right, so let's continue with technical analysis. So open. I'm monitoring this puppy. I think Open has potential for like a GameStop, AMC type run up. Who knows how things will play out? There might be some volatility, but I wouldn't be surprised, you know, um, that this can break through $6 next week, following week. I really do think, in the coming weeks, we may very well see it break through $10. But as we scale out, $15, I think it wants $15 as well. But when you look at Carvana, I mean, Carvana went to like hundreds of dollars, right? Why can't Open do the same? I definitely do think, there's price discovery potential with Open, having a solid position for a big run up as well. So be on the lookout for Open ticker. So BMNR, I mean, BMNR is, give me a moment. I need to take a drink of water. Um, but overall, I think BMNR is definitely at that position. It's consolidating in a bull flag. I'm thinking about loading up on BMNR, SBET, and Open next week. I'm bullish on it. ETH is going up. Retail hasn't even gotten in yet. So things are looking very good. All right, so let's look at technicals. BMNR. We're looking at 77.88. You know, Depending on the momentum around this area, I'm thinking there's going to be some resistance around this area. But who knows? It may just break through that. We look at relative strength. I mean, overbought since July, but since then it's been just coiling up in this cup and handle formation. U-shaped formation, in fact. But I do think we may very well have BMNR just break out from here on out. So definitely very bullish on BMNR stock. SBET, I mean, look at this. I mean, it's forming two firm boobies here. Let me just draw that out. I mean, actually, I can't draw that. But I think right now is like a good level. It's climbing up, at that support. It's going above this ascending channel. In the next 2 weeks, I think, like beginning of September at the latest, we may very well have SBET reach $36 to $40 plus on the upside. You look at the OBV, that represents the volume relative to the price. It's been going up. However, relative strength hasn't even caught up to that yet. So I think both of these lines are going to like just start trending up. And for those reasons, we're going to see more green candlesticks coming for SBET. So one thing to keep in mind, back in May, this puppy went from like $3 all the way up to like over 130. Big pullback because of the relative strength. Got to $8 to $40. I mean, that went from like July 2nd to July 16th. So within 2 weeks that had happened. So, where it currently is right now, it could easily just ramp back up, especially with so much upside right now with Ethereum. So let's take a look at BTBT. So let's take a look at the comments. So Tandem Wallet is the most popular now. Tangent Wallet. All right. So crypto struts. These ETH treasuries remind me of Bitcoin miners in August, September 2020. Crypto strats. Very few options. Just BMNR and SBET. Corey's channel. If you swap body with a random subscriber, what would you do? So that's funny. Jay, thank you. When you look at technical analysis, also you should mention put to call ratios. That's a good feedback. I'll definitely start incorporating that as well because everything's driven from calls and put expirations. But I do think where we are right now, we're looking very bullish, very, very bullish. So let's look at Bit Digital, BTBT. So I like BTBT. I bought more contracts of BTBT as well as shares. Yes, we had a pullback, at 430, 450, 360. It's on this lower lows projection. But as we look at it from a long-term perspective, lower highs, it's a matter of time until it breaks out of this bull flag, especially with ETH running and AI soon to have a reversal. Expect BTBT to break out above $5 and into the $6 range. As we scale out, I see BTBT being a double digit. So definitely huge opportunity with this undervalued stock play, BTBT. All right, next up, MSTR. So MSTR has been taking a big, pullback recently, but we know that they have the most Bitcoins on their balance sheet. They're definitely a strong company. It's just everything goes through ebbs and flows. Look at what we're seeing. I mean, just with the relative strength, extremely oversold, similar to the time when April had happened when the purple line was at low. What happened since then? We see OBV trending up, relative strength trending up. My guess is we're going to start seeing the purple line start trending up as well. And for those reasons, I think as we head into October, November timeframe, we're going to get to that $550 range for MSTR. That's my perspective. Let's take a look at Mara. So Mara definitely been taking a beating. Back in July, it was at $21, had a huge pullback, but on Friday had a nice 5% run up. So because we're seeing this downward dip, relative strength is cooling off. OBV's picking up, relative strength's picking up. I do think that we're going to see a nice run up to $23 in the next couple of weeks here on Mara as Bitcoin starts surging as well. We're looking at Bitcoin right now, 113,000, not bad, not bad. ETH at 4,700. All right, Clean Spark. Why do I like Clean Spark? I mean, everything comes with levels, right? I mean, cycles, yes, it dropped from 13 to $9. We just had a nice run up, 5%. Hopefully, we can see that momentum continue. Look at this relative strength, oversold situation. I'm thinking we're going to see a reversal pattern coming, and then we're going to see, Clean Spark, start gapping up. What goes down very quick like that will have, opportunity for it to start squeezing up. And by that time, we're going to have Katie, have a new license plate. I wouldn't worry about this. This is the key signal right here, relative strength in the oversold situation. Most of the time when RSI is oversold, you know, 70% of the time, that's when things start looking good. All right, so let's continue. So Riot platforms, very bullish on Riot. I mean, we see this cup and handle formation. When it got up to $15, it had a big dump. I mean, relative strength, was like overbought and then it just tanked. But good news is we see it climbing back up. The interesting thing is volume on the OBV continues to rise. Whales are buying significantly right now, and it's just going to be a matter of time when it starts squeezing up. And I think companies like Riot are going to be favorable because you have companies like IREN that's like really pushing up forward right now. You got IREN, this thing might go parabolic at one point. I actually took profits on IREN when it hit $21. I knew overbought situation. It needs to cool off. And what has happened since? Relative strength did cool off, but now it's priming, consolidating for that parabolic move up. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets to 32. But as IREN starts pushing up its price to these levels, similar to like NBIS, you betcha all the other miners that are, positioning to HPC AI like Wolf, Riot, Hive, Bitfarms, those stocks are going to start going up significantly as well. NBIS, you know, I believe someone on this channel, told me about NBIS when it was like at $13, and what has happened since? I mean, this thing went like from $13 to $75. Huge, huge movements with Nebius Group. I mean, they are operating off of like the NVIDIA technology. But soon enough, we're going to see this go to $100. So if NBIS can get to 100, IREN and other miners can get to that level as well. So it's a matter of time where these companies are going to just start breaking out. All right, so DJT, I mean, I'm very bullish on DJT. I've been loading up on DJT, and if again, do your research. I like DJT. Why? Because look, we have green verticals. Like within 2024 to now, we have one vertical, two vertical, three vertical, mini vertical, five vertical, six vertical, seven verticals, but since April to now, we haven't had any verticals. So soon enough, we're going to have a green candle coming, and that's where DJT stock is going to run up. I could easily see this getting to $30 in the coming weeks. Robbie's correct. Top three hodlers, the miners have something they're holding on to, and that's this right here. So Robbie knows because he's a big whale. He knows how the game works with this. So it's all a cycles game, patience, and things will start turning. All right. So next up, I want to add to your radar is Robinhood. So I definitely do see Robinhood in the next 2 weeks, perhaps. It may get to 130, one, you know, at the highest 140 in 2 to 3 weeks. Why is that the case? There's a lot of potential that Robinhood's going to get added to the S&P 500 very soon. Their market cap is close to $100 billion in market cap, well bigger than Coinbase. So, given the fact that their market cap's bigger than Coinbase, why can't Robinhood get added to S&P 500? So, I think there's going to be lots of news in that regard. In crypto right now, Wall Street, stocks are very bullish, especially with the dovish news from Jerome Powell. So Robinhood, I think there's going to be a lot more inflows, and we've seen Palantir make a big run. A lot of people are spending a lot of time on a Robinhood app, including myself. So I don't think it's just going to be stuck around this range. It's going to start going vertical with Robinhood as well. All right. So Galaxy, we talked about Galaxy as well. Be on the lookout for Galaxy. Definitely huge upside as well. Buy low, sell high. It's climbing up. I think this is going to be the next Robinhood Palantir stock. $100 stock underway. Market with Galaxy. So let's look at some AI plays. So QBTS, quantum computing. I like it because it had a big pullback. I mean, a pullback since like July. I mean, $20, and then it went from like 16 to 19. I mean, it had like six candles of red. So it's been pulling back significantly. But I do think that we're going to see a bounce back with QBTS. So AI is going to have a nice reversal, and we'll see a nice, um, a reversal with QBTS incoming. BBAI was well. I mean, I like BBAI. Yes, they had their Q2 earnings like several weeks back. Um, the stock price dropped like 25% during that announcement. But why do I like it? I mean, just think about it this way. I mean, it went from like $3 to like close to $9, and it's been bleeding out since. I do like the opportunity of it being around $5. I do think in the next several weeks we may very well break out back into the $7 range. They're working with governments with their software for facial recognition, so very bullish. All right, so HIMS, ticker HIMS. Be on the lookout for them as well. I took some contracts with them as well. I mean, at one point they got up to $70, dropping $70 to $40. I think they're building a support base here. It's just going to consolidate and start climbing back up. Near term, I see us getting to $54. Will that be in the next 2 weeks? It's very likely that that's going to happen. HIMS is not going to be, getting out of business. People will pay for that material, especially males. Um, we know that this company is here to stay, and the technicals will reverse, especially with the relative strength since July in the overbought situation. We're now oversold, so take advantage of the reversals. All right. So when it comes to altcoins, be on the lookout for Pengu. I mean, Pengu, think about it. BMNR, Tom Lee, his avatar, he basically has Pengu as an avatar where the current price is right now, 3 cents. It's only a matter of time where it's going to squeeze out of this, bull uh, Pengu flag, and it's going to just shoot up. I think soon we're going to get to the 5 cents. And once altcoin really starts running, at a minimum, we're gonna get, out of like 12 cents, 15 cents, even more. So definitely be on the lookout for Pengu. I also like Dogecoin, SEI, SUI. So those are some of the altcoins that I'm bullish on. All right, so let's look at the comments. If you have time, can you give me your technical analysis on DMGI Bitcoin miner? Okay, so I'm going to pull up DMGI and just see. DMGI, 36 cents prior run up top. I mean, not bad. I don't see anything bad about DMG. I mean, buying now is definitely less risky than buying when it's running up. So yeah, buy low, sell high. I see the opportunity there. Clean Spark driving me crazy. So Katie, be patient. Things are going to be okay. You got Robbie Rose, myself, others investing in the Clean Spark. Their hash rate is at a level that no other company can like really catch up to. Um, how high can Clean Spark go? I'm thinking CleanSpark can get to, end of year, let's say Bitcoin gets to 175,000. Let's go back to CleanSpark. CleanSpark. I'm going to price that somewhere around, I'm going to say around $24 potential. Depending on how fast Bitcoin can run. I mean, if it can like surge to like 150 quickly, I mean, this thing can just like vertically leap into like $20. As it gets to like 180,000 Bitcoin, CleanSpark can, 22 to, 32 is the range that I think CleanSpark has. But thank you for asking. So, question: are you concerned about CleanSpark transitioning CEO leaving? I am definitely not. I actually prefer Matthew Schultz. He seems to be more transparent, and I think by having like a co-CEO and a CEO, you're just wasting more money, and that's just gonna, eliminate the capex, the expenditures, and just let one guy lead the company, which I think CleanSpark, I mean, they're up and running right now. They have many sites, in operations right now, Bitcoin mining. Every hour they're mining a Bitcoin. As Bitcoin price starts going up, I'm going to tell you the big three Bitcoin miners, Mara, Riot, CleanSpark, they're going to have huge run-ups. So as for IREN, I mean, I like IREN. I really like IREN. Why do I like IREN? I mean, look at the parabolic move with IREN. Yes, they've been selling their Bitcoin, but they're using that for a greater cause, and that's a setup for the AI infrastructure. Um, IREN, they're slowly climbing, right? I mean, it ran up from $5 to $21 quickly. Relative strength was like overbought, but now it's like in slow gears, slowly but surely in this parabolic move. Soon enough, we're gonna see iron get to $32. Is my perspective. So I hope that answers your question. So as for earnings, IREN has, top line fleet efficiency. So they're going to be announcing some solid numbers. Crypto strats, are you buying any spot ETH? Currently, I'm not at the moment, but thanks for asking. Let's take a look at, okay, so we're seeing Bitcoin steadily climb, which is a good thing. I mean, just look at all of the altcoins running right now. Like every day I'm seeing like, you know, 30% gains, 80% gains. It's really altcoin season now. So um, Bitcoin dominance uh, slightly taking a pullback. We're seeing a lot more interest with ETH, Solana. Altcoins are soon going to be running. All right. So, what other questions do you all have? I hope that you all are enjoying this live session. Alan, you ask me that every time you're in the live session. Are you an investor in Wolf? That's a hard question. They're now working with Google, so their branding changes. You got investor interest and all that. So Google and Wolf partnering together, man, things are looking very, very good. This is going to push up, um, the mining sector. Look at Hut 8, right? So if you want the miners to do well, these companies, the share price should all be pushing up together. Things working complementary with one another, even though these companies are technically competitors. The entire mining sector benefits when the share price of each company goes up. Soon, I think the big three Bitcoin miners will start running up as well significantly. All right, so looks like we've gone. Thank you, Katie, for joining. We'll see you next Sunday. All right, so now that we're at the top of the hour, just wanted to thank you everyone for joining. It was a great session today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Yes, live stream every Sunday at around this time. So definitely, around 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Um, all right. So thank you all. I appreciate all of you joining. And I released some videos earlier today. So if you haven't already seen it, take a look at it. Also, please make sure to hit the like, subscribe, turn on the bell notification for more related content. Thanks, guys.